Welcome back and hello if you're new. Sorry about my voice, I'm kind of ill at the moment. So, I was very privileged this week to be able to see not one but two fantastic bands that would perform on Monday the 15th of October. I've been a fan of Enslaved for a very long time. For those of you who know me, I've got an Enslaved vertebrae tattoo on my arm. And it was also High on Fire's time to shine as well. And I even made a friend at the show. So here's what went down when I went to see High on Fire and Enslaved at the Dome in Tufnell Park. So the night consisted of 3 acts. The first act on was a band called Krakow, which I've never really actually heard before. And they were pretty cool. They're fairly loud and very drawn out sections of their songs. There were some bits where my interest did wane a little bit, but given the amount of people that were there and their reaction, they must have been doing something. I didn't realise that Enslaved and High on Fire were both a co-headline tour. So we got, I think, 75 minutes of each band. And the band opened straight out the gates with Roots of the Mountain, which, although Retir is not one of my favourite albums, that's a fantastic song, and I think it's it's one of those like stepping stones to where they are now. Overall, the set was pretty E-heavy, which I'm not complaining about. Storm Sun was absolutely amazing, The River's Mouth as well. Sacred Horse was pretty cool. Because Enslaved have such a large catalogue, it must be really hard to be able to kind of cherry pick what you're gonna play. It's also pretty crazy to see that Icedale actually wore a t-shirt this time. And it was also showcasing their brand new drummer. I know that the keys master has changed and it is now Hakon Vineyard. He's doing an amazing job, honestly. It was almost seamless, the transition between those two. But I've got an interview with Ivar where he kind of goes into a lot more depth about that, which you can check out and I'll link below. The one thing I had that was a bit of a problem is I just felt the audience were a bit kind of like meh. They were into it, but they weren't kind of showing it as much as it would have been cool to see, you know, like really passionate type stuff. But Enslaved, man, you couldn't fault them. And they finished on that track, which always just sounds like Grutel being like, Alpha Weird, which was awesome. So yeah, absolutely fantastic show. But it always is with Enslaved. Up next was High on Fire. Now, the last time I saw High on Fire was at Damnation Festival when they closed out the fest. So it's been a while since I've seen High on Fire. That was on the last album cycle, the Luminiferous tour, and now the band have just released a brand new album, Electric Messiah, and I have to say, they sounded absolutely killer. It was really interesting to see how 3 guys can have such a fantastic sound, and although it's really kind of fuzzy and rough around the edges, it's got that bite to it in terms of tone. I really do think that a lot of it has to do with the bassist's tone, because there's so much groove coming out of that, and then, you know, even the sections where Matt kind of goes off and has a solo, you have to have that barreling force to it that is pretty much quintessential in High on Fire's sound. They opened with Sons of Thunder, which then went straight into The Black Plot, which is a fantastic track, and although there was quite a lot of Luminiferous material actually compared to the Electric Messiah stuff, but we still got Steps of the Ziggurat, Electric Messiah, the title track, which was great. But for me, it's always about Snakes for the Divine, man. When that you're just like, yeah! I think I had a beer in my hand at that point, and that's, I think, a big deal, because, you know, technically that guitar line is pretty thin, so to be able to keep that sound bold enough is a massive deal. Not only was it a fantastic show, but I felt like the vibe was kind of a bit better. Being not the tallest guy, it was pretty hard to see, because I swear everyone is like 11 foot who likes High on Fire. Also, I made a friend, a guy who follows me on Instagram called Francesco. We ended up having a couple of beers and stuff, and it was really, really great. So I always say, you know, if you see me at a gig, come say hi, man. I'm always open to chatting and seeing what everyone's about. I also got an interview with Des from High on Fire, which will be going out soon, so make sure you check that out. It really kind of made me forget about everything else, and it was just riffs upon riffs upon riffs. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, hit that like and subscribe button. Let me know what you thought of the gig if you were there. Drop a comment. I've also got loads of stuff over on Metal Sucks' Apocalyptic Anniversaries. You can check that out. There's tons of interviews, album reviews, all sorts of stuff. At the next live review. Thank you so much for watching and take care. Alright.